femininity, how to feel feminine when you're losing your hair. So, in my experience as a bald woman and somebody who has been through the process of losing hair with numerous different clients and personal friends, both coaching and from a personal perspective, this is something that I have given a lot of thought. And we're going to go over femininity and what it means. And I'm going to give you one thing for you to start doing today to start connecting to your version of femininity that is completely independent of what is going on with your hair or the way that your body looks. So, first thing I want to touch on is I want you to take a second to look at what do you believe femininity is? What is femininity to you? What is feminine to you? So take a moment to think about that. And then notice, maybe even pause this video if you haven't got that clear. Notice, do you relate femininity to things that are superficial? Or do you relate femininity to things that are unchanging, pure representations, core representations of femininity? I think that superficial femininity is anything that you relate to femininity that is impermanent. So that's something that could change, such as your hair, right? Because if we think about hair and femininity, we can think about, hair can kind of help us feel sexy, right? It can help us feel feminine. We can do our hair. We get these big curls if we like, or you might kind of peek under those little things of hair that kind of fall on your face and be like, yeah, maybe twirl it in your finger. And that makes you feel feminine. It makes you feel sexy. Maybe you get long eyelashes. That makes you feel feminine. That makes you feel sexy. And yes, that is fun. I do enjoy that as well. But the femininity that you experience in those moments has less to do with the amount of hair that you have or what that hair looks like, and it has more to do with the energy and attitude that you have behind the action. Because there is feminine and masculine in all of us. And we become connected to this femininity when we play with this flirtatiousness, we play with this pleasure, we feel subtle energies, and we feel in our intuition. We play with that when we think about creation. We play with that when we think about emotions and words and art forms, words being an art form. We play with this femininity when we nurture ourselves, when we nurture others, when we activate that fierce goddess warrior energy inside of you. If you're a yogi, think like Kali, goddess Kali, right? So once again, femininity is less to do with what you look like and more to do with how you move through your life. Feeling sexy is therefore a byproduct of this femininity. When you are a woman who wants to feel sexy and you like feeling in more of the femininity, which I'm assuming you are because you're looking at this video, feeling sexy then becomes a byproduct of capitalizing on the innate femininity that you already have and allowing it to glow out. Because all of the hair products, all of the wigs and the creams and all of the makeup and all of the clothes and everything pale in comparison when compared to the power that feminine, pure feminine energy has when you allow it to sit inside of you and radiate out. This is not something that you can just fake. It's not something that you can just put on. It's something that you cultivate through a practice. It's something that you cultivate through a practice that gives you groundedness, that gives you resilience, that gives you flow, because it's all about feminine flow as well. And there is nothing more attractive than a woman who sits in that and is open and ready to receive, because feminine is also about receiving. So there are so many other ways. There are so many ways to practice this. Really, really amplifying that it is a practice. It's not something that we're achieving. right? It's a practice. It's something that we're experiencing. We're here for the experience. Once again, that's the feminine. So sometimes it can be difficult because we do need to look into the beliefs that we have around femininity, around pleasure, around body image. It can be difficult. But what we do is when we go into this, when we move through these emotions, once again, very feminine way of healing, moving through emotions, it frees up space to become more connected to the femininity. It frees up space to be your truest self. Because being your truest self is what is sexy. Someone who is authentic, someone who is unapologetic. That only depends on you. Only you know what that is, and only you can show other people what that is. So, inside of Acceptance and Confidence Ascension and my programs is what we do is before we can think about being sexy outwardly and thinking about that, we need to think about pleasure and feminine inwardly in the way that we experience. So one of the first practices that I ask my clients to do is to connect with their sensuality. Connect with your senses. We are gifted senses to use. We are not gifted them to run away from, even when we may have been led to believe that that is the case. We are gifted them to use. So when we increase our capacity to experience and be present with our senses and to find pleasure from them, we then become more rooted in the now, and we then increase our capacity to find this energy. So I'm going to give you some ideas for increasing your capacity to become sensual. Number one is connect with your sight. So look around right now. What is something that you can do that would connect you with the pleasure that you get from seeing things? Maybe it's watching a sunset. Maybe it's gazing at art. Maybe it's looking at nature. Maybe it's picking out a beautiful pair of shoes or making your space around you very beautiful. Or yeah, maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's taking your time to pick some nice clothes, which then kind of leads me into touch, because touch is the sense of touch, finding pleasure from that. So maybe it's choosing clothes with nice fabrics that you enjoy wearing. Or maybe it's engaging in self-massage. Or maybe it's stretching because that feels really good. It's very sensual, very touching. Maybe it's just feeling the sun on your skin. What is something you can do that uses the sense of touch to find more pleasure? And then we have smell. So what is something that you can do that uses the sense of smell to find more pleasure? Do you enjoy essential oils? Do you have a nice perfume that you just want to smell it, you just want more of it? And is there a meal that you like to cook that has a really nice smell? If there is, then you can also engage the sense of taste. You can cook a really nice meal and smell it, experience it, and then eat it consciously, mindfully, maybe even dim the lights. When you dim the lights, you kind of activate the other senses a little bit more, so maybe you'll notice different textures. With taste, you can think about if you get a strawberry or a berry of some sort, just enjoying one berry, just being so in awe and so mindful and so present with this one berry. Or maybe you want to cultivate sound, hearing. Maybe there are certain sounds that you just really enjoy. Maybe it's a certain singer's voice, or maybe there's a song that reminds you of something. Or maybe you look at music as a way to move your body, or maybe you look at music that doesn't have lyrics so that you don't get caught thinking about the lyrics. Or maybe you even want to sing. Maybe that would bring you pleasure. So what is something that you can do right now, that you can do today, that you can do this week as well? Continue to do this. That brings you more pleasure, that is connected to your senses. And stay present in those senses. That is the first step that you need to take, or that you can take, to becoming more connected with your femininity, regardless of what is going on outside of you with your body image and with your hair. If this was helpful for you, please let me know by liking and subscribing and commenting below, so that I know if I should make some more of these and give you the next couple of steps. Have a beautiful rest of your day.